So what's going on here? First of all, we've got a small indoor linear servo mounted on here on a 3D printed mount glued to the firewall. The cable runs round, pokes through the acetate familiar and joins to this unit. This is an Sbus decoder. I used to have little chips stacked up. I've scrapped that and gone for this 1 to 4 breakout. So this is currently bringing in signal for the servo that does the retract, the speed controller, and now also this servo. And I have capacity for one more channel here if required, because there's an option if this doesn't prove to be robust to put a second servo in here and having one per gear door. Attached to the linear servo is this 3D printed arm, and then these connect through a couple of Z-bent pieces of wire into Dubro micro clevises. And on the underneath, on the inside of the gear doors, attached to the hinges, I've designed and created 2 little control horns, one here and one here that these connect to. So as this servo moves up and down, it pulls this bar up and down, which in turn opens and closes the doors. So if I show gear going up, I'll hold this the right way, gear up, this servo raises the door. Now, it is on the limit of its strength. It's not quite happy on 2S. I have had a problem with the other nozzle today where I've discovered I couldn't get it to work properly, and I've discovered it's actually the servo that's failing. It has no torque. I don't know if it's burnt out, overheated or what, but I'm going to replace that and continue with the single servo for now because it does work on this nozzle. And on an alternative is if this doesn't go to plan, I can always cut the top edge off of this piece of wood, and there is room to put 2 of these in, one left and one right, and have a single servo per door. And I can use that secondary channel to again just break out the same channel from the radio gear. So this is I think on channel 12, so I'll just bring 12 to this port as well, and then both servos will get exactly the same signal. Here I'm going to show just how I've programmed this to work in a sequential manner on the radio gear, given we don't actually have a door sequencer. So the first thing is to ensure that the servos are moving in the correct direction, and we'd already done that with the gear earlier. The slow movement is controlled through our servo slow. So under here we have servo speed, and I'm using 4 channels. I've got my 2 gear channels, these are the 2 wheels, and then I have a door left and a door right. The mixing and delay is done through program mixes. So we have 4 mixes. We've got a switch, which is our retract switch, to the door on the right, and the switch to the gear on the right, and then the same switch to the door on the left and the gear on the left. Now, this door and this door are a mirror of one another, as are this gear and this gear. If we look at the mix, what happens in here, what this does is immediately throws the servo at the start of its travel. It then takes some time because the servo itself is delayed, and we can control the speed of this travel. So here we're looking at the door, and what happens is we throw the switch and it going in this direction, it immediately tells it to open. So the door opens, and the servo slow function is making that servo move slowly for a nice scale opening. Now watch what happens when we close it. As we close the door, gear up, wait, 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 now move the door. And you can see that as it comes across, wait, 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 and then pulls it up. And this gives us the delay for the traction. And this is controlled on the second page of the mix using the master, so it's daily by switch. And this is the timing in and out. So out, we don't have anything, because as we put the gear down, we want the door to open, start opening straight away. So that immediately starts the open. It's then slowed with the servo slow. We have exactly the opposite with the gear. So on the gear, what happens here is as we throw the switch, we're currently in gear up, we want to go gear down. It waits, that lets the door open, and then, and this last bit immediately fires to the opposite extreme, the gear open command, and again that gear then moves really slowly using the servo slow function. Conversely, the opposite, when we come in for gear up, you want this to throw immediately, because the first thing we want is gear up, then the doors to close, and as I flow this switch, bam, straight to the other side, it instantly tells it door, wheel up. And if we look at the timing on this opposite side, we have this here. So this is the delay for the wheel coming down to let the doors open, and then coming up you want the door to the gears to start moving immediately whilst the door is under a delay. And to time all of this, it's just a case of getting these timings correct. And what I did to ensure I didn't damage anything before before I connected anything up, was to make sure in here in the servo monitor display that everything behaves correctly. So as I throw this switch, those are our two doors opening. Now our wheels are moving and our wheels are finished. And then coming up, we want to make sure that the wheels are finished. There they are. Before those 12 and 13 complete their movements. 14 and 15 are unused at this point, you can ignore those. That is how I've used the 16SZ to build a door sequencer without actually having a door sequencer, using program mixes. If I have to add the other servo in and have a servo per door, we don't have to change anything in the radio. All we will do is deliver the channels for those existing servos, which are channels 12 for the left hand door and channels 13 for the right hand door, is reprogram our Sbus so that this port here receives exactly the same information as this port that I'm already using, which is the existing servo. Hopefully we won't have to do that when the new servos arrive. They should work. It works on this one, and that will be the second nacelle, so we'll have sequenced doors. The servos are 1.5 grams, the plastic's less than half a gram, and the linkage, so all in all I've added about 3 grams per set of linkages, so very negligible given the all-up weight of the aircraft, and I thought worth it to get sequenced operating gear doors. Thank you all. Bye.